I am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm just realizing that you don't see my name at the bottom of this. And I'm glad we are all family here. So let me go ahead and fix that right quick. Okay. Because I don't know what is happening. There it is. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I've missed y'all. I took a much needed break and we are back, and I'm excited to be back with this morning's guest. But before we do all of that, I just want to tell you how grateful I am for all of you for always hanging out with us on a Saturday morning, especially those of you who are in the Midwest and on the West Coast. If you're joining me this morning, I know you love me and I love you back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness, and that's what Inspire is all about. And so on Saturdays at 10, we hold space for soulful and honest and transformative conversations from guests from all walks of life. And if you've been with me over the last couple of years, you know we talk to everybody. We don't discriminate over here. We like good debates too, if we need to have them. Entrepreneurs, artists, thought leaders, organizers, and everyday people who are living boldly and authentically. And we explore topics that matter, from mental health and identity to faith, business, justice, creativity, and healing. So whether we are spotlighting community leaders or celebrating personal triumphs, Inspire is rooted in the power of story and the belief that when we speak our truth, we light the way for others. I see you coming in. Let me invite you to like, follow, and subscribe while you're coming in. Connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So if you've been following me on Cara Solutions LLC from the beginning, thank you so much. We are still going strong on Cara Solutions LLC. I'll tell you more about that later on in the broadcast. But I want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are on Facebook and Instagram right now. For now, we'll see if we're going to keep staying on here. But I want you to follow us and Inspire with Sue W. Also, you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes. You can find out more about the show, and you can subscribe to our newsletter because we don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. So let me see who is joining us. Do me a favor. I'm see Trisha. Hey sis, how are you? Oh, Crystal, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I see more people that are talking. I want to shout you out. So let me know that you're watching so that I can shout you out. And I hope that you all have some stuff in your cup. So, because the question I always ask, what are you sipping on this morning? What you got? Now, you know me. I have coffee in my cup. Always coffee in my cup. So do me a favor, let me know if you got coffee, tea, water, listen, a smoothie, some orange juice, some apple juice. If you got a little something stronger in your cup, I'm not judging you. Let me know what you're sipping on. Let me know where you are watching from while I take this sip. Now, if you all want a cup, let me know. because of course it has what are you sipping on in the cup. So let me know if you want this cup up on the website, and I will put it on there. Before we go further, I want to give a big shout out to Tiffany Glenn for my fatigue jacket this morning. She is based out of Springfield, Ohio, and I want to show you the whole thing, but it's tight back here and I can't get up. So let me put a picture on the screen for you so you can see what it looks like. So y'all know I'm from Brooklyn down to the socks, okay? So of course I got Biggie on the back. Biggie on the back, all these wonderful patches. Let me see. I love being black. Of course, she put a baldy girl on there. Let's see. Black Girl Magic. I mean, so many wonderful, a little bougie because I am. And let's see, a lot of Black Girl Magic going on, some sparkles, some stars. If you want information, this is custom made. So if you want some information, I will send it to you. Just inbox me and I will send you that information for Tiffany. So Tiffany, if you're watching, thank you, girl. You got me looking good this morning. Thank you so much for making this this custom thing for me. Now, if you want me to wear something or sip out of something, you have a product that you want me to show on Inspire, please send it to me. Let me know, right? And listen, I will pay for it, okay? I believe in paying creatives. I believe in, especially Black people. If you Black, I believe in paying you, okay? So I don't want anything for free over here. Let me know. I will buy it and I will showcase it here on Inspire. All right. Let me just take a look, making sure I see. Okay, I see y'all sharing. Cole, it's so good to see you. I see y'all. Chicago. Nice hot cup of coffee. Okay, all right. People are drinking coffee. I know some of y'all drinking some water and all of that good stuff. So let me know. Let me know where you are watching from and what you are sipping on. Okay. So if you've been paying attention to what's happening in the world, right? You know that many people are just navigating a lot right now. Okay. We know the economy is shifting. Everything is higher. Everything, you know, we started with eggs, but now it's gas, right? If you go to the supermarket, your dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to, right? I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. You know, careers, we know about all the thousands of Black women who were let go from their jobs, from their positions, and are still being let go. And those positions are being filled by white men. That's a whole nother show that we can talk about, right? But across communities, people are asking some questions, right? They're asking deeper questions about purpose and leadership and direction. And for many of us, underneath it all, it is simple. We want to know, where is our life actually going? We're still trying to figure it out. Because we can be busy, we can be productive, we can even be successful by other people's standards and still feel like we're not the one driving our own life. And sometimes it feels like we're passengers, right? Just moving along while life makes the decisions. But what if we were never meant to be passengers? What if we were meant to be the CEO of our own lives, right? Not in the sense of constant grinding and pressure, but in a deeper sense of ownership of our choices, ownership of our direction, ownership of our purpose, which is why I love our guests that we're getting ready to talk to you in a minute. If you ever use a GPS, so y'all know I'm from Brooklyn, I don't drive, okay? People be on me about that. I'm going to learn. I am going to learn this summer, I promise. If you ever use a GPS while driving, you know the moment when you miss a turn and that voice, right, that calmly says, recalculating, right, rerouting, right? So there's, you know, you might feel some kind of way, but there's really that voice that comes from the GPS. It's, you know, there's no judgment in that voice. There's no shame in that voice. It's just, you know, creating a new route for you. And sometimes life works the exact same way. We think we know where we're going, and then something shifts. And suddenly we have to pause and breathe and decide what direction we're going to take next. And that's exactly what today's conversation is all about, or guest today is an author, leadership coach, and speaker who has spent more than 2 decades helping people develop the mindset and habits needed to take ownership of their lives. Her newest book is on pre-order, is titled Freedom Has GPS, Set Your Destination to Success. And it's all about navigating life with clarity, purpose, and intentional leadership. So I'm excited for this conversation. Let me put her up on the screen because I want to let you see her in action for a little bit before we bring her on. We are welcoming Rachel L. Gary. Again, she's an author, speaker, leadership coach who has dedicated her work to helping individuals break limiting patterns, develop powerful habits, and become the CEO of their own lives. From her journey, moving from minimum wage to building a six-figure career, to her books, including Forest and Fire, Poverty to Six Figures, and now Freedom Has GPS, Rachel's story is one of resilience, direction, and transformation. As we prepare to meet her, let's take a look at a clip from her Wake Up CEO radio show, Undoubting Your Capacity. I love this clip.
Consistency plus commitment equals confidence. So let's make it plain. Confidence is not magic. There's no magical pill. There's no magical solution. Confidence is not something a few people were born with. Confidence often is the result of seeing yourself show up enough times that you stop doubting your own capacity. I want y'all to hear that one more time for the people in the back. Confidence is the result of seeing yourself show up enough times that you stop doubting your own capacity.
I love that clip. Hey, Rachel, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hey, that was that. I love that part of the show. Thank you for putting that clip up.
Yeah, I usually peruse people's social media to find something that will really speak to the personhood, the character of that person. And so I appreciated that clip. It spoke to me, and I'm sure that it spoke to so many people, so many other people who viewed it, who were on the show, who listened to the show, because it's live, right? Okay, so it is live. So I'm sure it helped them and everyone else who's catching that little clip in the replay. So thank you for that. Welcome to Inspire. It's really good to have you here. Before we get into our conversation today, what are you sipping on? What do you have in your cup?
Today I have some tea. We have some hibiscus as well as cherry bark tea. I have a slight cold, as you guys heard in that clip from last week. I'm just getting over the cold, so we have to keep ourselves hydrated in the right way with the good herbs. I'm a against farmer kind of person, but we're not gonna go into that today. So.
Well, you know what? I believe we have to start tapping into those skill sets that our ancestors had, right? Absolutely. How did they get well? Absolutely. With herbs and leaves, and they made their own medicine. And so especially with so we can have a whole nother show, and I promise we're gonna get to the question, but we can have a whole nother show about how high health insurance is.
Exactly. And I don't want to dive into it, but I just say this: a lot of my research. I'm a avid person who reads a lot. I read about 104, 105 books a year on specific subjects. It's just the medicine itself has so many side effects because it's synthetically made. Mm-hmm. So I'm just a firm believer in. Let's tap into the information that our ancestors left us. There's so many home remedy books from the 80s, the special salves they put on, the special kind of, we have to think about penicillin itself is a plant. So it's the things that they added to penicillin that was supposed to make it easier to digest and make it very difficult for our bodies to digest. Mm-hmm. I mean, as I said, I don't think that they're intentionally trying to kill us. I think that they're trying to heal, but a lot of things go with trial and error and hypothesis. And hypothesis means is that you're using an educated guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think, it's just a little pushback. I think that what better way of keeping you coming back for medicine than to keep you from being completely healed? If they eliminate the thing that's ailing you, right? There's no need for you to buy
Yeah, there's no money in a cure. You're true. You're
So
there's no money in a cure. You're
right,
speaking
right.
real.
So yeah, I think that's part of it as well. But listen, I gotta shout out everyone who's struggling with health insurance right now. Listen, I had to let mine go because over $1,000 a month. I don't know if anybody else got their health insurance from the marketplace and had that credit. That credit ended last year at the end of last year, and now it's sky high, right? And so yeah, shout out to everyone who's struggling with that, who's had to let their health insurance go because it's just too much money. So let's get into talking about you and not health insurance, Rachel. Let's talk a little bit about your story. So what experiences, right? Alluded to it a little bit in your introduction, but what experiences shaped your passion for helping people become the CEO of their own lives?
Great question. I will say it was just being the person who, over the years, has gone through many trials and tribulations. As you alluded to, I started my career 30 years ago now. I'm getting old about a second. And in 3 days, I will be 50. So my 50th birthday is March 17th. So 30 years ago, I started my career unloading trucks by hand. And one day on a cold front porch, I talk about that a lot in my very first book. The cold front porch, when the reality hit me that everything that was happening to me came from the things that I had done previously. We're a culmination of our previous activities. And when I really sat down with myself and said, there's nothing outside of me stopping me from doing the things I'm doing, I'm holding me back. And when I took ownership, which is part of the CEO, I'll give y'all a quick version. The CEO means being clear in your actions, empowered by your choices, and owning your direction. So you can be the CEO of your life. And when I took on the CEO in that manner, it shifted what I was thinking, how I was thinking, and how I showed up. And that manifested in so many ways within my life. Within 14 months, I was promoted 4 times. I was given lots of leadership opportunities, a lot of information that was made privy to me so quickly. And in book 2, I talk about a lot of times when I failed, because you fail. For me, I do 2 things in life: I'm winning and learning. So there's never a failure. I learn from the situation to win again. So during all of those times, I realized the biggest thing was that the reason why people weren't successful is because the mindset that they were setting their lives up for. And the second that you take control of your mindset and start getting you a skill set, your mindset, and get a tool set, then you're able to navigate through life the way in which you see fit, which is what I talk a lot about in my 3rd book, Freedom as GPS.
Thank you so much for sharing. I love that. What you're sharing with us is not just like motivational language, right? No. Like it's a lived experience, it's an embodied experience. And one of your books really captures that journey. So can we talk a little bit about Poverty to 6 Figures, right? It's such a powerful title. What mindset shifts helped you move from survival mode to building some real success?
I appreciate where you said the survival mode, because that's what the mode a lot of us are in. We're in the mode of that we have to work, and that's surviving. When I realized that poverty is a mindset, not a financial destination. Because a lot of times we equate poverty with the fact of how much money you have. I could have $0 in the bank and I'm never going to ever be at poverty, because my mindset is always going to think of what do I need to do? What strategy do I need to put in place? And what intentions do I need to do next to be able to grow and build 6 figures, $1 million or beyond? What do I need to do next? And that is the mind shift that I talk about in hashtag Poverty to 6 Figures. The biggest thing is in the book is about dealing with you. I want you guys to hear that one more time. Dealing with you. Not outside of you, not the government, not the alderman, not the neighborhood, you. Because I grew up on the south side of Chicago in some of the hardest neighborhoods. That's where I'm from. So the neighborhood doesn't shape you, your mindset, your thought processes, and the things that you intake do. So living through all of those things, what I noticed is that the mindset had to shift. And I came up with something called the 4 pillars of self. I lived through those 4 pillars of self: self-esteem, self-care, self-discipline, and being self-aware. Those are necessary for you to have a beyond money mindset and a mindset of growth.
Yeah, I love that response. Before we go further, I neglected to shout out Instagram. You see me looking over here. Instagram's over there. I see. Listen. The people are they are responding over on Instagram. And thank all of you who are in the audience who have joined us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, on YouTube, and everywhere else that you are joining us from. Thank you so much for this amazing conversation with leadership coach Rachel L. Gary. So, Rachel, I looked at all the titles, right, of your book, Forged in Fire, of course, poverty, hashtag poverty is 6 figures, and now, Freedom, the one that's coming, right, the newest book, Freedom Has GPS, and the theme that is threaded throughout all of them is transformation, right? There's that common thread across all your work. And so tell us a little bit about that transformational thread that's threaded throughout all of your works. Why was it important to you to share that with the world? Because you could have been enlightened yourself and kept it to yourself.
There's no fun in that, Sue. There's no fun in keeping it to myself. That's the main point. But the biggest thing is that we have to understand that everything is an evolution. We are evolving, whether we want to or not. A lot of people, they use the word, I'm afraid of change. You're going to change anyway. Whether you're going to let the forces of life change you or you're going to make an intentional change yourself. But either way, you're going to change. I chose to evolve. There's a difference in that change and that evolution. So I chose to embrace the things as they were coming my way, learn through them, grow through them, get knowledge and have applied knowledge, because applied knowledge is dangerous. That's what the danger is. Not just getting knowledge, applying that knowledge. So the point of transformation is we go from being the caterpillar to in the cocoon to the butterfly, and we start flying. So that is all different forms and different parts of our lives. And we must go through those trials and tribulations that are in Forged in Fire. We have to get through that survival of the neighborhood, survival of the environment, survival of the mind, to get to a point of actually being able to sustain and start maintaining. Yeah. And then once you get to sustain and maintaining, once you get the money, what you do next? You're sitting around. You're now. I'm gonna allude to a little bit of book 3. It's where you start noticing that I've made it, but to who? I'm more in bondage than I was when I just had $7 an hour, because now I'm in bondage to the things I bought with the money that I have now. Now I'm in bondage to the career. I'm in bondage to the constant proving myself to the workforce so I can get better positions. And now you're at the point of exhaustion because you're so busy now. Once you make it, quotate that, make it. Once you make it, you're like, okay, how do I maintain it? How do I make sure that I have the newest car? I have a nicer house. I'm able to afford my kids going to college. I'm able to do these things. You have a new set of, as they say, problems. But for me, I don't see them as a problem. I see it as a solution to everything. And that's the freedom part of getting to the point of understanding what true freedom really can mean.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I love that you talked about the caterpillar to the butterfly. And so I preached a sermon a couple years back using that same metaphor. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know about like that, how the caterpillar becomes, like what happens in the cocoon. People don't know the caterpillar is completely broken down. It's mush, it's liquid, right?
Yeah.
And our life is like that, right? Sometimes in our lives that we're going along, like things break down, right? Things get difficult, right? But when you come out of that, this beautiful butterfly, and you've gone from the caterpillar who was a ground eating thing to a butterfly who now eats flowers and stuff like that. So you're no longer crawling around the ground trying to get sustenance, right? Trying to get food. You have completely changed. There's no recognition of the caterpillar and the butterfly. And I think that is where many of us need to get to that point. Let the caterpillar go. Someone was going to hold on to
it. There it is. Love
let
that.
The caterpillar go, right? And embrace your beautiful butterfly self.
Yes, ma'am. Sue, I love what you just said there. And the reason being because when you talk about the caterpillar, that is even though all of that is still the same transformed being. I want you to hear a being, because it's not an animal, it's a being. That energy, once it goes inside of the cocoon, becomes broken down. That's how, as you said about our lives will go through shambles. I tell somebody in my book, I talk about I burned a bridge. And that meant I was never going back. That meant once I burned it, there was no opportunity to step across again. And that's how I feel when a caterpillar goes into the cocoon. At that point, they are not just shedding, like a snake sheds their skin, but they're still the same formation. But when you're a caterpillar, you become totally, all of your molecular cells are broken down and you are now reconstructed into who you become. And I think that once we go through a fire, go through a transformation, it becomes very difficult for us to move on, because we're holding on to all of the things that transformed us. But to actually truly step into your greatness, you must totally let that go. You can remember that it's there, because that's the lessons. Remember, 2 things we're doing in life: we're living and learning. So we're winning and learning. We're winning and learning. So that's the things we learned. But once we learned them, let's utilize them to move forward, not step backwards into what has been learned already.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm loving this conversation. Those of you who are watching, if you have a question for Coach Rachel, please post it. We'll make sure that she's able to respond to those questions before we end our time together. Especially you, IG, please go ahead and post your questions so we can get them over to Coach Rachel. So let's talk about this whole navigation GPS business, right? What would you say, before I get to that question, why did you choose that GPS? Why did you choose navigation? Why did you connect those to personal growth and leadership?
Because everyone has, if we are not clear on what we want, so it goes into the GPS. We'll use GPS because that's my thing. When you put your coordinates of where you want, when you get in your car, say I want to drive. Either you get in your car and you're just driving aimlessly. Like, you remember back in the day when we were in our teens, we used to get in, we were so happy we had a car. Our friends had a car. We wanted to get in the car. We just drove around the neighborhood. We were just driving around so people could see us. We were laying back in the seat just so they could see us. We were aimlessly just driving around. We got older and decided that we wanted to go somewhere. We had to put in where we wanted to go. That's how life is. If you truly want to arrive someplace, you have to determine where that place is. So that's why I put GPS, because GPS stands for get clear, protect your plan, and stay the course. Mm-hmm. And I can dive into each of those as we move further, but that's the point of GPS, because once you get clear on what you want, then you're going to protect the plan of getting there. And then as you're moving through it, you're going to stay the course. And as I said, we can dive into it as soon as Sue wants to get into that, what you got.
Well, we're about to get into that. I'm going to take a quick break for some housekeeping. And when we come back, I would love for you to read an excerpt of the newest book. So you say you have chapter 1 at the ready.
That's all y'all got is chapter 1.
You don't have to read all of chapter 1, but we would love to hear a little bit of that. No. All right. Once again, we'll be back with some more conversation with the amazing Rachel L. Gary. Hey, y'all. Thank you again for joining us. I want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Again, if you've been following us on Kara Solutions LLC, thank you so much. We are building up the Inspire with Sue W platform and the Inspire Network. And so we want to invite you to follow us on Inspired with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can learn all about the show. And you can see all of our previous episodes, and you can subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss a thing. We don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. Also, are you or someone you know on a mission to create change and inspiring others to do the same? We want to hear from you. I want to sit from you, across from you in this virtual space. I want you to join us in conversation on a future episode of Inspire. Again, you can head over to the website at www.getinspired.live. You can book your appearance right on our website. Head over to our website, click on Be Our Guest, and book your appearance on the website. So we do this every single time that we have a broadcast. Our sibling and community needs a kidney donor. So some of you might know Yanni, you might know as the peace pastor, Pastor Yanni, poet, all of those things that she is. But she is in need of a kidney donor. She's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, have the blood types A or O, the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she'd love to share the safety measures with you. If you want to reach her and her family, you can do so at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Alternatively, if you know of a resource, of an organization, of somewhere that she can get connected to assist her, please let us know so we can get that information over to her. Let us know so we can get that information over to her. And let's do this thing in community, y'all. We believe that, we can get it done together. We can get this thing done together. So help us get help our sibling and community get the kidney that she so desperately needs. And before we get back, of course, I got to shout out Kara, helping you navigate the digital space with confidence. We are a full service digital agency specializing in helping our clients achieve their goals through consultation and training, content, social media management, graphic web design, live stream production, podcast production, all of the things. If you want to learn more, you can schedule a consultation today by visiting our website at www.cara-solutions.com, or you can email us at info@cara-solutions.com. I want to hear from you. So let's get back to our conversation with the amazing Rachel L. Garrett. Welcome back, Rachel. Thank you again for joining us on Inspire. We are been such a good conversation so far, and I'm really excited about hearing this excerpt of your new book, Freedom Has GPS. So I will put you full screen while you read, and take it away.
All right, everybody. So this is from chapter 1. So let's go back and let's say what chapter 1 is. I want to make sure we start from the beginning of it. So chapter 1 is about unsettled by the course. And I'm going to read maybe a couple of sentences from the beginning, then I'm going to jump to a middle portion, because I want you guys to really understand how life really transforms you when you're saying to yourself that, man, how do I get here? How did I get here? How do I make a change? What do I do? What's happening? So it starts here. I jumped up, clothes drenched, face drenched, sheets drenched, sweat everywhere. The scream leaves my mouth before I can stop it. What have I done? I rush to the sink and throw water on my face, hoping it will shock me back into reality, but it doesn't. The question is still there, waiting, heavy, unforgiving. What have I done? My mind is still swimming in the circumstances surrounding the demise of someone's life. A moment that cannot be reversed, a choice that refuses to loosen its grip. The questions come fast, one after another, relentlessly. Why didn't I walk away? Why didn't I just put down the weapon? Those two questions follow me all day. I'm awake, but not really present. Moving through time like a ghost in my own life. I could have closed that door long ago. It didn't have to be this way. Okay, that's the beginning. Now we're going to jump into my favorite excerpt of chapter 1. Let you guys get a little bit of that. So, hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Say it's a paper version because the book isn't out yet. So you guys are getting some exclusive on stuff here. So, morning rises and the cycles begin again. Why didn't I just put down the weapon? Is this really what my life was supposed to be? What do I do now? Who do I tell? How do I move forward from here? Deep down, I know the truth. Even when I didn't want to face it, I allowed this. I had a moment, just one moment, where I could have chosen differently. I could have put down that weapon. That is the excerpt from chapter 1. To get the full chapter 1, you can go ahead and get the pre-order right now by going to www.sayiampossible.com and clicking on the event section, and you'll be able to get the full chapter at a discount.
Muted myself. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've already put that link in. I put that link in the chat while you were speaking. So please go ahead, y'all. If you're, look at that link in the chat, and please follow it, right? Please go learn all about Rachel, all about her work, and all about the other books that she has, and put your order in, pre-order this amazing book. Thank you so much for that excerpt. How does someone recognize, right? Because we're still in this navigation thing, this GPS thing. How does someone recognize when it's time to change direction?
That's a very good question. When you realize that you are overwhelmed, when you realize that the pressure from the life that you've created it doesn't feel freeing. It doesn't feel like you're living your life. It feels like you're a ghost within your own life. So all of us get there. All of us have had that moment where we're like, okay, I love my job. I love what I do, but do I have to really go in? Do I have to do one more report? Do I need to do one more project? That's not freeing. That's bondage still. So when you feel like that, it's taking the moment to step back and really understanding what peace really looks like for you. So that's what I talk about in Freedom Has GPS. Mm-hmm. It's a 7-part framework that spells freedom. It's focus the truth, route the destination, eliminate the noise, establish the system, define the boundaries, own the moves, measure, maintain, and multiply.
I love it. Y'all need to go pre-order this book. I love that you mentioned, someone being on a job and not wanting to be there, but right now, given our current situation, right? Given the current events, the political climate, what's happening, folks are struggling, right? Trying to hold on to the job that they don't like, right? Because they need to survive. They have to take care of their families. They have to pay their bills, right? That's the only way that they can, for them, have a little money in their pocket, right? Everything is uncertain, and so they're trying to hold on to something that's a sure thing, even though it's really not a sure thing. But in a moment, it is a sure thing. So how would you recommend someone stay focused on their destination when the whole world around them feels chaotic?
You guys are not going to like what I have to say. So everyone hold on for what I'm about to say. Excuse me with the cough, it's like cold. I would say the biggest thing is that the security of that job. Start using it as an investor in what you really want to do. I have this thing about living in your circle of genius and growing towards your purpose. Remember, every job that you had was someone's dream of a company. What is your dream? What is your life? What is it that you have loved to do? Step into that. So while we're at a certain times, let's get to certainty. How do we get to certainty? When you're owning what certainty looks like for you. So utilize the job as an investor. I know it's hard to invest in the struggling economy we are in, but we can't focus on the struggling economy. We have to focus on what we can control, our economy, economy between our eyes, and then start getting tools to start moving forward. I have on my website, the same website I sent you to, it has a Circle of Genius survey. And that survey is for you to just find your circle of genius and start stepping into it. I am naturally, I've been coaching and mentoring people since I was a child. I've been helping people, and which is how I was promoted so much within my career. It was because of the fact of my ability to work with individuals, hear what they had going on, and collaborate for growth. So so I've been this person forever. I don't preach. I collaborate. I have conversations. I remind people of who they are, not tell them who they are. So just what I'm saying to you guys is find out who you are. That means the busyness of life has stopped you from figuring out who you are. Take a minute and start really assessing who you are. And then start stepping into that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how we get past uncertainty, because there's no certainty in the job either. We're just going to be honest.
Right.
600,000 Black women lost their jobs in February of 2025. Since that time, there's been a new 200,000 more jobs that have been eliminated. I'm not saying this to be scared, guys. This is not a scarcity conversation. This is about having a sacred conversation with yourself on everything that is possible. But the one thing that is very possible is you. You're 100% survivor of yesterdays. So that means your track record of surviving is exemplary.
Yeah.
Step into that.
Step into that. Listen, this deserves an orphan plate. Okay. We got to pass.
I love that, Sue.
We got to pass the orphan plate on that. I love it. I love it. And I imagine part of that, well, we know, finding out, learning about yourself, who you are, that is difficult for a lot of us to do, because we don't like to look at ourselves in the mirror, right? It requires a lot of inner work, introspection, reflection, right? And for some of us, that's difficult. We don't want to face ourselves. I'm looking, I think there's something going on in chat. We don't want to look at ourselves, right? But it makes me think about that aside. I would imagine that habits and discipline, those play a really important role in that. And so you have written extensively about habits and goal setting. And so what would you say are the top 3 habits that can transform someone's life if they commit to them?
Consistency. That's number 1. Being consistent, having a level of integrity, and being committed to your success. Those 3 things. Now, the reason why, and I have a whole 7-day challenge, I used to do it with it. But if you're consistently committed to your success, you build your integrity. The show clip that she played in the very beginning was all about building that eye muscle, your integrity. The more you do, the more you show up for you, the more you're telling yourself you're going to show up. That builds your confidence. A lot of times, the biggest thing when you're not confident because you've let yourself down so much. You've told yourself you're gonna do something, and y'all gonna hate, y'all don't get mad. We lie to us. Skip everyone else. We lie to us. If you lie to you, how do you expect when you really want to show up for you that now's the day you're gonna do it? Because you told yourself so many times that I'm gonna do it, but then you stop. So it's being consistent. Start with small things. Small. This is not, if you say you're gonna take out the trash today, take it out today. If you say you're going to write one affirmation, write one affirmation. If you say you're going to give yourself 5 minutes, give yourself the 5 minutes. It's the small habits that culminate to you making big progress. Because once you start telling yourself the truth and showing up for you, you're going to know you can show up for you. I tell people, I don't gamble. I bet on one thing, Rachel L. Gary.
I love that.
All my money's all in on her.
All your money. Listen, I love it. I love it. And so when we have these types of conversations, we often focus on winning and focus on success, but we also know that every journey includes doubt. So what would you say, what is a quiet truth, right, about success that people rarely admit out loud?
That you're scared to fail. You're going to fail. Get ready. I fail every day. But let me explain what I do. Get up every day. I try something new. I try something new to grow the business. I try something new to talk to my mentees. I try something new. With something new, there comes fear. If I'm gonna use a quote from this my favorite leadership coach, Lisa Nichols. Fear is fake, evidence appearing real. It just is. So we're gonna fail. Be ready. You're gonna fall. But that's our biggest thing, that we're afraid to fail, so we don't try. When you fail, you learn. Remember the two things we're doing in the beginning, guys. We're winning and learning. So when you fail is a lesson. So you want to get the lesson. But if you don't move forward, you don't get the lesson. So as someone who's failed more times than I have succeeded, the reason why I have succeeded is because I tried every time. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna fail today because I'm gonna do something today. There's something new I gotta do today. Like today, my lights behind me, they were driving me crazy. I told Miss Sue in the beginning. So now today I'm gonna put my lights on the ceiling. So I'm gonna try something new today, so it never glares again. But this is a learning lesson. I don't see anything as a failure. I see everything as in it's for me. Because a lot of times we're thinking, guys, that stuff is happening to us when it's happening for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And people often don't see the lesson really in failing. Failing is absolutely a part of the journey, right? And I love that you mentioned that it's a teachable moment, right? What can I do differently? What can I try? What can I think of, who can I connect with? Who can I collaborate with? There's so many things that failure teaches us. And so don't be afraid to fail. Absolutely. Don't be afraid to fail.
Embrace it. Embrace it.
Yeah, embrace it. Embrace it. So, we're going to wrap up soon. Again, if you have a question for Rachel, please post it because I don't want her to miss anything. But I ask every guest about joy. We are we love joy over here on Inspire. We believe that joy is both resistance and restoration. And so as a Black woman building impact in a world that often expects more, carries less, and still rewards this relentless productivity, right, to the point of burnout, what role does joy play in your leadership and in your life?
Everything I do is about joy and happiness. Joy, happiness, and peace. That's what is all about. And to me, the joy is from within. Every day I pour into me so much positivity that even when things are going awry, I can always get back to the joy of life. Joy that you breathe in today, guys. Joy in the smallest of things. The snowflakes outside. People were talking about it was snowing. I was in the snow playing and rolling around. One more time, I started this off saying I'll be 50 in 3 days. So it's the joy of life. We have to get that childlike joy back into our lives, because just as in biblical sections it says, from joy within as children, even as an adult, that joy of as a child, if you keep that in your life, you will always are looking for the brighter side of things. And even when negativity arises, you're going to always be able to combat it with the positivity that you're looking for in that situation.
Yeah. Thank you. Joy is absolutely the thing that helps us keep going, right? The happiness is fleeting, but joy is that thing that we always have on the inside, whether we choose to tap into it or not, right? But it's absolutely the thing that helps us get to the next, right? To the next area, to the next, lane of our journey, right? So keep tapping into your joy, whatever that looks like, right? It might not look like going out in the snow and making snow angels, right? And playing around, but it might, it might look like something as simple as taking yourself to the movies or reading a favorite book or just carving out 1 hour for yourself, right? That belongs to you and nobody else.
Or
right?
watching Lion King 200 times. That's
that too. That too. So whatever brings you joy, it's important to really tap into that right now, especially now, because that is the thing that will keep you going. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing all of that.
Thank you for having me. I mean, this was an awesome experience. I love the offering play. I'm gonna have to double take that part of it because I love things that make you smile and laugh and remind you that life is already serious enough. We in our space, we need to make sure that we are still able to laugh through it and grow through it and get a strategy to move through.
Yeah. So I want you to give a final word for someone who is watching this right now, who will catch this in the replay, who will listen to the audio later. If someone who might be feeling stuck financially, professionally, or emotionally, if you had 60 seconds to redirect their life, what would you tell them?
Okay, guys, this is the sauce, the GPS. Get clear means telling the truth about where you are, what you're working on, and what is broken, and what peace actually looks like for you. P, protecting the plan means building boundaries, systems, and priorities that support the life you say you want. And S, stay the course means owning your moves, measuring your growth, and remaining aligned long enough to see the results show up. And until next time, CEOs, no matter where you find me, I want y'all to stay focused on one thing: being up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You.
Tell the people where to find you, Rachel.
You can find me on all social media platforms at Rachel L. Gary, just like my name is spelled.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Your work reminds us that success is not accidental, it is intentional, right? And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is pause long enough to ask ourselves, where am I going? Right? And am I willing to change direction if I need to? And so, of course, again, if you want to learn more about Rachel L. Gary, her newest book, you can pre-order her newest book, Freedom Has GPS, Set Your Destination to Success. The link is in the chat. She has already told you where to find her. Please support. We believe in supporting our own here at Inspire, and I want you to go and support, right? And buy the book, buy her previous books. And if you can pre-order that new book. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other places, YouTube. Thank you so Twitch. Hey, Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, for spending your Saturday morning with us. And listen, your voice matters. You matter. Everything matters. The direction of your life is still being written. And so until next time, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. But most of all, I want you to stay inspired. We'll see you again next week. Bye, Rachel.